Hey guys, what's up? In this episode, we're having a look at this fine machine. It's a Ram 2500 heavy duty. In particular, this is a Laramie Longhorn mega cab. I love saying mega cab, with the 6.7 liter Cummins diesel. And this is quite a capable machine. If you're new to the channel, I'm Brian Max, a longtime race driver, and of course, as a race driver over the years, I've towed plenty of vehicles, and I love a truck with that kind of capability. And you know, these days, the best thing for us as truck buyers is that there's a war going on with all the truck makers for towing and power and torque and all that stuff, and I absolutely love it. So it's a great time to be a truck driver. Anyway, join me as we have a look at this Ram 2500 heavy duty. The drivetrain in this 2500 is very interesting. The Cummins is it's actually a inline 6-cylinder, and it's paired with a 6-speed automatic. I'm actually enjoying it, and that inline 6 is perhaps a little smoother than some of the diesels I've recently driven. In the 2500, the standard engine is a heavy-duty version of the 6.4-liter Hemi V8, but this optional 6.7-liter Cummins is the right way to go here. 370 horsepower and 850 pounds-feet of torque. Once you tick that box for the Cummins, the only transmission available is a 6-speed automatic. Together, it's a match made in 3/4-ton truck heaven. The diesel is obviously powerful, but there's something special about an inline 6-cylinder engine. Even one as massive as this, it runs with a magical, mechanically smooth vibe that you can only get from a modern inline 6. And it's definitely smoother than many other diesels that I've driven recently. The Cummins is an eye-watering $9,100 option, or about $7,300 in Canada for some strange reason, but also it includes a 200-amp alternator, the exhaust brake, which we'll get into, heavy-duty cooling, and at least in the Great White North, it also includes a grille cover for those colder months. For the majority of this test, I'm driving in rear drive only, but we did manage to get a little off-road where 4-wheel high was useful, and the electronic transfer case makes switching between 2-high and 4-high a breeze. One thing to note is that this 2500 Mega Cab only comes with 4-wheel drive and the 6-foot 4-inch box, but you can get an 8-foot box with the crew cab. These are things to keep in mind when speccing your Ram because there are so many configurations. Speaking of which, in this configuration, payload maxes out at 2,130 pounds, and maximum towing capacity is 16,520 pounds. I think my last race car and trailer combo totaled 5,000 pounds maybe, so I can't begin to imagine what I could really tow with this thing. Before incentives, this fully equipped 2500 Laramie Longhorn Mega Cab with the big diesel costs roughly $80,000, or about $98,500 for our Canadian friends. Now this is totally subjective, but personally I think Ram is the most attractive of all the trucks you can buy today. The design is muscular, athletic, balanced, cohesive, attractive. It, you know, ticks all of those boxes, and for that reason alone I'd want to drive a Ram. But Ram's done a bunch of things with the exterior design of the 2500. The interior of this Ram is absolutely gorgeous. This gets the same treatment as the 1500, and this interior is just smashing. But also, with respect to this being a Laramie Longhorn, there's a lot of detail in here, and it's actually gorgeous. As you'd expect as someone who likes trucks, this 2500, without a load in it, without it carrying anything, without it pulling anything, does have a firm ride on the road, and it is a little firmer than I'd expect. But on the other hand, this new interior, this new design is very, very quiet. This thing is something you can put hundreds and hundreds of miles on and be very relaxed. It is remarkably quiet, and given that it is a diesel, it is magnificently quiet. They've really accomplished something here with this truck. After living with this Ram for a while, there's plenty that I like and a few things I don't care for. Now, what I do like has to do with its usability. So for example, the adaptive cruise control is fantastic. There is no lane keep assist on this big rig, but that's okay. I also do love the running boards because I am a short mother trucker and I need them to get in and out of the truck. But what I will say is that as I've gotten used to this truck, as I've gotten accustomed to it, I'm actually beating the running boards to its lower position, both getting in and out of the truck. It's like it's a half heartbeat too slow for me, so I've had to remind myself to just be a little more patient getting in and out of the truck, but that's okay as well. This 12-inch screen is highly functional. For me, I use Apple CarPlay, and with the latest OS, Waze works fantastically. I'm not using the Uconnect navigation. This is a bit of a minor complaint, but with respect to the seating position, there is no telescoping wheel here, and that's to be expected. There is, of course, some height adjustment. Where the heck is that? So we can, raise and lower the steering wheel, but there is no telescoping ability to the steering column. And while there is some adjustability with the pedals, there's power adjustment for the pedals. What I find is the seating position is a little bit awkward. I'd like to sit a little further away from the pedals, but I can't get them to go far enough towards the firewall for my liking. It's just not exactly perfect. Totally comfortable, mind you, but not exactly perfect. Speaking of which, what I will say about the seats is while they are very comfortable and have heating and cooling function with this particular Laramie Longhorn edition, the seats, I could use just a little more firmer padding. What I did love about my Titan XD were those NASA moon rockets derived seats. They were just a little bit firmer and a little bit more supportive, and these seats still support you well on long drives, but they could be just a little firmer for my liking. The 12-inch Uconnect is just brilliant. I am an Apple CarPlay user, and the way that you can get basically two different displays on the screen is outstanding, and the interface is so well designed. I have to say the Uconnect is still one of the best, if not the best, in the business out of any car maker today. It's just absolutely fantastic. The levels of redundancy make it very easy. So, for example, I don't have to call up the climate control screen to adjust the temperature. There are redundant buttons for driver and passenger here, as well as fan settings, but I just use automatic climate control. But it is very functional. As well, one of the other things I love about this, and I would love this more if I had towed with it, but certainly, if I'm going to buy a truck to tow again, this would be at the top of my list. But I love the exhaust brake, and it works very well. And you can put it in an automatic mode or just leave it on, and that is very clever on Ram's part. Works very well. Also, in terms of it being this Ram Heavy Duty being a work truck, there are plenty of power ports here. So there's a 3-prong outlet down here. There's one back here. There are 2 USBs up front. There's traditional old school USBs, as well as 2 USB-Cs right here. And the same back here, 2 old school USBs and 2 USB-Cs in the back. And speaking of the back, I do want to talk about the Mega Cab a little bit. The seats do have, some adjustability, as FCA is known to do. And everything works well, as you can see. However, what I will say, because I do travel a lot with carry-on size luggage, I tried to throw a carry-on size piece behind the seats, and it just fit. Sure, my backpack fits there, no problem, but a carry-on size piece just fits where I had to force the seat closed and have it latched. So take that under advisement if you're going to use the truck for purposes like that. But the extra storage back there is awesome, and I do like the ability to just put stuff away and keep it out of view from people who shouldn't be seeing what's in the truck. The camera systems are also excellent. As you know, I didn't tow with this, but You can put a fifth wheel on this, and the regular hitch is there, and you've got your choice of different connections. But what I will say is that the cameras just make this very easy to live with. I do live in a big city, a very dense city, and I've had no trouble parking this. Even though it's twice the size of your average car, I've had no trouble parking this. But what I do love is how well the cameras work for hooking up with a trailer. Interior storage is near endless, and I've used almost everything in the course of testing this big Ram, and the storage is great. So cup holders here, extra storage here, storage underneath the armrest. This well here of storage is significant. Oh, and I perhaps forgot to mention, there's a wireless charging pad right here for your phone, and I have been using it when I haven't been connected with a cable, and works great. But storage is limitless in this big Ram, and I absolutely love it. So as a work truck, it makes a heck of a lot of sense, and it's very, very well resolved, very well thought through in terms of storage. The tailgate actually has an electronic latch, and you can use the remote to drop the tailgate, and it is damped so it just doesn't drop and slam down, which is a very nice feature. I don't know why everybody doesn't do that these days. In this specification, there's the power sunroof as well as the power rear glass, which I absolutely love. But that rear glass is not automatic, unlike the sunroof, and it should be. You've got to manually close it, and I forgot the other day to fully close it. I just pressed the button, it stayed open all night, and of course this massive truck doesn't fit in my garage. Thankfully it didn't rain, but yeah, I forgot to close it. But I do love the power functionality of that instead of a manual function like my father's old trucks.
I like to keep track of numbers, and in the interests of transparency, here are mine. I did a pile of highway driving, a little bit around town, and a bit of off-roading as well. In total, I drove 442 miles, averaged 16.4 miles per gallon, which is an impressive number for me because I qualify as a throttle-abusing driver, and my average speed was 31 miles an hour.
Thanks for hanging out with me today and having a look at this Ram 2500 heavy-duty Laramie Longhorn Mega Cab with the Cummins diesel under the hood. Hope you liked this piece. If you did, well, you're not new to YouTube, you know what to do. If you have any questions, well, leave them in the comments below or reach out to me on social media. Links here, links below, and I'll get back to you as soon as I'm able. But as far as this Ram heavy duty goes, well, what I will say is that, because there is this race among truck makers to have more power, more torque, and more towing capability, that's only good for us as truck buyers. And, that is a good thing, having more choice. But in this case, this Ram, because it's got so much capability, so much style, both inside and out, I'm definitely impressed with what Ram has done here. Anyway, thanks again for watching, and I'll see you again next time.